Doha, Qatar, and also in Cairo, Egypt. Um, the head of the security apparatus in Israel is there. Um, the United States has representatives, obviously, Egypt. The terrorists have people there. The deal is very, very close. And the reason Israel wants it so badly is they want to get out the remaining hostages before they're all killed by Hamas in the tunnels under Gaza. Um, the question arises, why do these deals never happen? Why do they get like that close and then Hamas walks away? And the United Nations is mad at Hamas, and the United States, and Israel's in a panic because more and more of their citizens are dying. Look, we've got, I think there's 8 Americans supposedly still alive in those tunnels. America wants them back, and Hamas just keeps the killing going. The war would end in 5 minutes if they let everybody go, but they haven't. The question is why? I'm going to show you a video released by Hamas that will explain it. Watch this.
من فلسطين، لو أخرجناهم من فلسطين وأخرجناهم من بيت المقدس دون أن يسلموا ولو ذهبوا آخر العالم سنلاحقهم وسندعوهم إلى الإسلام وندعو بوصل الإسلام وندعو جميع النصارى للإسلام. نعم ديننا دين الرحمة.
نعم، أنا أوصي أولا يعني الإخوة المجاهدين في سرايا القدس أن يستمروا في عملهم المقاوم.
نحن لا نحب الحياة، نحن طلقنا الدنيا بالثلاثة، نحن الذين عمروا آخرتهم.
Couple of key
you're gonna have
points.
to translate.
You see the translation on the bottom. We don't love
I can't
life.
see it on my end for some reason.
Oh, everybody got it.
Okay.
What I'll translate for you from what I read, that we don't love life. This is the Hamas terrorists talking. We are preparing for the afterlife. Their religion has taught them that if they die fighting the Christians and Jews, they will go to paradise. So what he says is, we will hunt down and kill all the Jews, and we will call the Christians to Islam, and if they don't come, we will kill them too. It's a lovely religion. Religion is not the right word. They are an apocalyptic, vicious, Nazi-like terror organization. I guess the difference is the Nazis wanted to live. These people want to die. So, Will, theoretically, how do you make peace with somebody? How do you stop a war with somebody who says, I'm going to kill you, Christians and Jews, and I hope I die when I'm doing that because that's my ticket to paradise? How do you make peace with them?
Join them.
Well, you have to join them and then convert.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only, and that's what they want. I mean, right? That's what they want. But obviously, we're not going to do that because we love life. We know that we're blessed with the life that God gave us, and we want to cherish it with our friends and our families. I mean, that is the opposite of what they want. We recognize how beautiful this is.
You would make a total crappy Muslim with attitude like that.
Apparently so. But you know what, Barry, I brought this up before, that they have this thing in their mind. I guess, I don't know if it's part of their religion, what have you, but they believe in suffering. They believe that they need to suffer. They believe they need to be in pain. They believe this, right? They need to cause chaos. They need to live in chaos. And all the people that surround them, they need to feel pain and live in chaos as well. So then that way they can use their pain and their chaos to anger them, to push an agenda, to get them to fight against a group of people, whoever it is that they select, you know, that day of the week or whatever have you. But they believe that being miserable is the way that they should be. And I'm looking at it, to give an example of what made me came up with this, looking at it from the outside looking in, is that here Israel dropping leaflets saying, hey, get out of harm's way. Here's Israel providing water. We talked about it. Here's Israel providing energy. Here's Israel providing food. And what happens? Hamas, they charge the people for all of the free resources that they're receiving from Israel. And then when the people try to get food for themselves, you have Hamas killing them. They want them to live in misery. They want them to live that way because then it's a control mechanism at the same time. If people have food, if people have water, if people have a job, they're not dependent. It kind of like it sounds like I'm talking about the Democrat Party here in America.
It sounded familiar. It really did.
I mean, really, it's
You
the same
just changed
tactic.
The name.
It's the same tactic.
Yeah, I totally get it. The next time somebody asks you, why is there no peace in Gaza? Show them that video. That's from Hamas.
Yeah.
In their own words. Unbelievable. I know you're a big Nancy Pelosi fan, Will Johnson. I've done some research. Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah. For those of you that have tried to block it out of their memories, like a bad dream that you wake up in the middle of the night and you hope it's not real, this is. Nancy Pelosi was Speaker of the House for 8 years, 2 different terms. Third in line to be president of the United States. Oh my goodness, God forbid. She's infamously known for the lady that stood up behind President Trump's State of the Union speech and tore up his speech. That was seen by 100 million Americans. The disrespect was unbelievable. So she's been in Congress 37 years. She's approximately 700 years old, give or take. It's hard to tell. The alcohol has preserved her well. It's like, pickling something, on the shelf. It just doesn't age. But here's the part that I don't get, and I wanted to bring it to everybody's attention. Congressmen now are paid a little over $200,000 a year. But she's amassed a stupendous, unbelievable, ridiculous fortune. Let me show you how much we're talking about.
So slowly, time goes by. 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 So slowly.
Wow.
Did you see how much money she's worth?
$140 million.
I found another article that said it's approaching supposedly 200 million now.
Would not be surprised.
I remember being in college and people saying, I'd go into politics, but I can't afford it. They don't make enough money. Hello? She's one of the richest people around.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how did she get there? What am I missing?
The insider trading. I mean, that's it right there. I mean, her husband liked the whole chip deal right before it got, before it passed. Her husband bought $5 million in stocks into the chip deal. And it's never been reported on how much he walked away with after they passed it because it skyrocketed, So it's not only that. I truly believe that she's making money from Ukraine as well. A lot of people probably don't like to hear that, but they're sending billions of dollars to Ukraine, and she's buying stocks into BlackRock and all these other. Can I say that on here? She's buying stocks into some of these manufacturers, And guess what? When that money comes right back for them to buy XYZ, she gets a bonus. And the same thing when all of these, what do they call them? Not when they leave Congress and then they go work for a company and they come back, there's
They're
a
lobbying?
certainty. Lobbyists,
Yeah.
lobbyists, right? Lobbyists. No, why I couldn't remember that. Yeah, these I guess because I'm never going to be a lobbyist, right? So these lobbyists, they come back and they make these sweetheart deals with them. You put this in the bill, put that in the bill. We'll make sure that you get this amount. Your family members will get X, Y, Z, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. She's became filthy rich. And just here recently, Barry, where I think she was on the Communist News Network and they were asking her about Joe Biden stepping down. I noticed something about her. I don't know if you noticed it. This was just here yesterday. She looks 10 years younger now. Have you noticed that?
I saw that when she was asked in the hallway last night about whether Biden should step down. I didn't know it was her. She got another facelift.
She got something done, Botox, whatever it is that they do. She can afford it. I mean, $200 million a year. That's chump change. I'll spend $1 million in doing it.
She can buy the hospital, Will. Come on.
Seriously.
If they say politics don't pay, show them that video. And if we update it next year, probably add another $50 million.
Yeah.
Well, like we talked about before we came on air, this story I'm about to present is maybe the most upsetting story I think I've ever been involved in my decades of political commentary. Candace Owens is a political social commentator. She has her own podcast. She was let go a couple months ago from the Daily Wire over her anti-Jewish rhetoric. But now she's gone stark raving wacko. I don't know what else to say. This is her. Very, very famous, very bright, intelligence-wise. And if there was a poster child for ignorance, this is it. She has just released a podcast. I saw it last night, where she called the torturing experiments performed on Jewish prisoners in the concentration camps as bizarre propaganda. She said that some of the stories to her sound absurd. She said, why would the Nazis cut people in half? Why would they torture people? It doesn't make any sense to me. There's no real documentation. Candace, you're a liar. You're an ignorant liar. There are over 15,000 documentaries on just the torture of the prisoners in these camps. Some of them survived. About a quarter of them actually lived to tell their story on camera of what happened to them and who did it. She has literally lost her mind and gone full-blown Nazi. The reason I take it so personally is my parents were there. My mother was a nurse at Auschwitz with no medical supplies, doing her best to keep alive the people that Joseph Mengele, the most infamous of the Nazi torturers, performed on inmates. There are thousands and thousands of videos available on YouTube. It is the most documented crime in human history. When General Eisenhower saw the camps, he commanded the Army photographers and videographers to take film and pictures because he said someday people will come along and say this didn't happen. That day is now. And this ignorant person, I'm making an invitation. Candace, we've communicated in the past. Reach out. I will get you educated. I will get you the information. I want you to know that what you said was wrong and horrible and despicable and insulting to the memories of people like my family, my immediate family that were there. I can't believe the poison that she's been infected with. I don't understand it. And you, as a young man with your pop, who was in the army, you were in Germany.
Yeah. Yeah. I lived in Germany 3 different times. My mother, she loved it there. And we went there 3 different times. And I'll never forget when I was there at my youngest age, we were going like on a tour, and we went by one of these camps that they turn into like in a museum. And I remember seeing the barbed wire, because I thought it was like this. They said it was used during World War II, is what they were explaining to us. That's all I remember, because we didn't go inside of it. They just showed, we saw it from outside of it. And they held Jews in there, what they were telling us, and they were, giving us a story about this monster, Hitler. So for Candace Owens to come out and say that it didn't even happen, she's not the first one to say this, and I'm pretty sure you're aware of this. But there's been other people that's been saying this. And for me being there, seeing, put it like this, I was there and I saw it firsthand. Why in the world would Germany have a camp showing a barbed wire saying this is where they held Jews? If they don't want that history to be part of their nation, don't you think they would have destroyed it? I mean, look what the Democrats are doing here in America. They destroyed the statues. They want to get rid of Abraham Lincoln. Everyone, all of the statues that remind us, what the past was like, they want to get rid of it so they can rewrite history. They wouldn't have that there if it wasn't true. They kept it there because they don't want to repeat history. We need to have our history right in front of our faces so that we don't repeat it. But then you get Candace Owens. I haven't seen the video clip. I haven't watched Candace Owens in a while. It's been a good minute since I've watched her. I don't, be honest with you, I never did watch her religiously, or just, if I just happen to see a clip, I will see it. But for the most part, I don't ever see her stuff any longer. Had you not told me about it, I would have never known, because I don't watch her like that.
Well, the condemnations are pouring in from around the world. It's the most documented crime in human history.
You know what? Let me ask.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of videos. The Nazis.
Does she, I wonder. Yeah, I wonder, does she have like a end game or a goal for her lying this way? Because come on, we all admit that she's highly intelligent. She has to know the truth here. So is she upset because of what happened with the Daily Wire? Right? Is that the reason why? And you know what? Isn't it interesting too? Because just yesterday, what is his name, was at Capitol Hill. It's on tip. I don't know why I can't remember any names today. What is his name? Daily Wire. Ben Shapiro. Thank you. I don't know why I can't remember. Ben Shapiro's on Capitol Hill, and he's just hammering these idiots on Capitol Hill, doing a fantastic job. And then today she does this. Is it possible that she's doing this because she's bitter with him? Is it possible she's doing this because everybody, I saw the videos with him, Ben Shapiro. I saw the videos with him going viral everywhere, but I'm not seeing anything on her. So she does this. I guess she's trying to do this to try to deflect, bring attention off of what he did. He did a phenomenal job, if you ask me.
I don't know what's in somebody's head. I just judge based on what somebody does. Imagine.
But it's no coincidence that she did it today after Ben Shapiro's being there in Capitol Hill yesterday.
It could be. Imagine this as a black man. If I brought you a video that said, all this slavery reparations is BS. There was never slavery.
Right.
What are you talking about?
Right.
Show me somebody that was there. and you'd go, there were millions of slaves. I'm a descendant of slaves. and I said, no, Will, you're full of it. I mean, you in about 2 minutes would be so angry to deny the history, the horrible history of slavery. This is mass murder against a specific people, the likes of which the world has never seen before and God willing will never see again. To deny
Well,
the biggest, most horrific mass murder in human history is vicious and mean and ignorant. Or maybe it's not ignorance, as you just suggested. Maybe it's intentional.
I think it's, be honest with you, because you said she did this podcast last night, right?
I think it was yesterday, yes.
It was yesterday, right? So, and then again, Ben Shapiro, he's on Capitol Hill. And for what I saw, he did a phenomenal job. She's still bitter. She's a scorned woman because she got fired from the Daily Wire. And she's probably like, how dare you fire me? I'm Candace Owens. Do you know who
Well,
I
remember,
am?
I'm a fan of Ben Shapiro too. The guy is the most articulate conservative in America. Believes in God, believes in morality, believes in the Constitution, wants lower taxes. I mean, he's borderline libertarian, which me too. So I'm a big fan. And if you remember, before they let her go, she was starting to say stuff like supporting Kanye with all of his anti-Semitism, and being a big fan of what he was saying, and it didn't go well. And the head of the Daily Wire is an ex-pastor, Christian pastor, and he was offended. Ben Shapiro didn't fire her. The CEO of Daily Wire did.
Yeah, but to my understanding, but to my understanding, she's targeting him, saying that he's the reason why she's no longer there. That's one thing that I heard.
We don't know.
And there's actually, you know what? I should have sent it to you. I saw something where Kanye West was in favor of Israel being able to defend themselves against Hamas.
Well, he changes his mind.
I think what.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think what happened with Kanye West, and a lot of people may be taking it take it a certain way, is that he was talking about and I wish he would have been more clear about it. Now, I could be wrong. I'm not saying that I don't know how he thinks. Okay. But my perception was that he was talking about these elites that are in the Hollywood and in the music industry, and they're liberal. If he would have just came out and said these liberals, because there's liberals that are black, Jewish, white, Hispanic, whatever, right? They're liberal. You got liberal Muslims. You actually have some conservative Muslims too. But if he would have been clear and articulate that these were liberals that he was talking about, how they're controlling so much, then I think a lot of people would have like, okay, I see your point. But he just did like a blanket thing talking about all Jewish people. And that's where the problem came in. And then now you have Candace Owens, right? And I think what she's doing is another blanket statement, trying to say that it never even happened, trying to blame Jewish people and try to say that they're making up a lie when she knows the truth. I refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe that she doesn't know, and she's only doing this because she's bitter. And it's not cool. I mean, it's not cool. You actually show yourself when you're angry and you do stuff like she's doing. You're really showing who you are. You're actually showing your character.
You're a great psychologist. and you know what? It could be you're right. I don't know. But like I said, I judge people by what they do. Talk is cheap. Actions speak louder than words, right?
Yeah.
Right now, Candace, call Barry. I'm easy to find. Let me get you educated. Please. This hate has got to stop.
Yeah, I don't think she would, because she's already put it out there. She's gonna stick to her guns. I'm telling you, I think she's bitter. There's nothing like a scorned woman. I'm just saying. There's nothing like it. She's bitter what happened, so she figures that I'll just, make up these lies just to attack people. And again, Ben Shapiro's on Capitol Hill, going viral. Let me break that up.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll follow up. We'll let you all know. Speculation is increasing daily that President Biden may not be the Democrat at the top of the ticket come
No.
November.
No.
I know. It's a shocker. The most likely replacement, as best as everyone can tell based on the odds makers this morning, is that lady, Kamala Harris. She said something rather crazy this week. I know that's a shocker. What does Trump call her? Cackling Kamala or something like that? That's a good one.
Yeah, cackling Camilla.
Yeah, she laughs constantly in the middle of sentences, sometimes in the middle of sentences on a very serious subject. And what we're going to talk about is one of those sentences. She's getting a lot more attention.
Is this the
now
passage of
because-
time?
All right. I'm going to show it again next week because it's so darn good. But this is about Israel. And she said that in response to an interview she just gave to the very, very left-wing publication, The Nation, far left publication, she said in this interview that young anti-Israel protesters are showing, quote, exactly what the human emotion should be. In other words, these people that are protesting the existence of the state of Israel are showing the human emotion that they should show. She didn't mention the hostages. She didn't mention the slaughter. She didn't mention houses being burned to the ground, babies shoved into ovens, women cut open in front of their husbands, old people dragged behind Jeeps till they died, and on and on and on and on and on. She didn't mention any of that. What she did was she encouraged the protesters by saying, this is exactly what the human emotion should be. If indeed she becomes the presidential nominee,
Oof.
I think the Democrats are toast because they will start researching what happened in California from her days with Willie Brown,
Yep.
the Democrat chief of California, and you guys need to look that up,
Oof.
to becoming the attorney general and refusing to prosecute crimes, raising money after the George Floyd riots to bail everybody out of jail that was rioting and hurting people. She has a horrible background in California. And nobody did any research on her, Will, because quite frankly, she was the vice president and people just don't check like they're supposed to. And what did you call her? A DEI hire at one time? Right?
I don't know. That's the only reason why she's there. She's there because of DEI. And President Trump said it very well in his last rally. The only reason why she's there is because she was not a threat to Joe Biden. She's like the most incompetent person that they could ever put in that position. Because if they actually put someone there that had their mind, Joe Biden would have been gone a long time ago. So they got someone that was dumber than he is.
Let's focus on that. I thought that was brilliant by Trump.
Yeah.
To say that this is the insurance policy that kept Joe Biden in the White House. No one wants him out because the bench ain't that deep. You know, it's like, when you're playing baseball and it's the 14th inning and you need a pinch hitter and the only person on the bench is a pitcher who has never gotten a hit, you hesitate to bring the guy in to hit, right?
I mean, even those on the left, the Democrats, they don't want Kamala Harris either. Well, they've shot themselves in the foot. There are a few. There's a few. You know what, Barry? I think they're only saying it in the public eye, right? Because just like a lot of them in the public eye, they're saying that we're sticking with Joe. He's sharp. Joe has his wits. Joe is better. This has been the best Joe ever, right? You've heard him say it.
Yeah,
and they're saying it publicly.
We both know that's BS.
No, right? I know. We all know it's BS. They're saying it publicly. And the reason why they're saying it publicly, Barry, is because they've gotten so accustomed to lying to the people, they don't see anything wrong with it. Now, behind closed doors, in the private conversations that they're having, They're saying that Joe Biden is going to take us all down. Joe Biden needs to go. George Clooney, Looney Clooney, just did an op-ed talking about this very thing. Every single senator, every single governor that he talked to, and what state is Looney Clooney from? Is he in California? So did he talk to Gruesome Newsom too? So because Gavin Newsom, he'll go before the cameras and say he's sticking with Joe. So if he actually talked to Gavin Newsom, somebody's lying, because Gavin Newsom in front of the cameras saying Joe Biden, but behind closed doors, they're all saying Joe needs to go. And they don't want Kamala Harris because Kamala Harris is even worse than Joe. They're in trouble.
By the way, just to finish on this segment, after she said that these are the right things, she was talking about, you know, there are issues in Gaza that make people uncomfortable, like sanitary pads. And then she said that she likes to bake, and they have flour, but what are they baking? It got really weird. I don't know what to say. That could be your president, brother.
And she's there because of DEI. That's it.
Oh,
she's not. She's there 100% because of DEI. She's not qualified. I mean, she's supposed to, you know what? And also, like you said, they'll dig up dirt. She was supposed to control the border. Look what happened to the border. She's the border czar. And
believe me, the Republican staff is salivating, digging up her background right now.
Oh, yeah.
And every step of the way of her career. Remember when she was talking about she was smoking doobies with the rapper that died before she was even in college? She said she was in college, and what's the name of the rapper that got assassinated? The skinny one, Tupac. Yeah, she and Tupac, and she just made it up. Tupac had been dead for a long time before she ever got to the age she said she was doing it. She bragged about smoking pot and on and on and on. She fits right in with Joe Biden and his stories, right?
Yes. Yeah, they all lie. They all lie.
And nobody fact checks. Nobody fact checks.
No.
Will, there's a radio station in Philadelphia, WURD. It's a black-owned radio station that just fired their host for being honest. Check this out. This lady, I feel really bad for her, to be honest. She interviewed Joe Biden on the radio in Philadelphia, and the interview was supposed to show how with it Joe Biden is. And it was introduced that she can ask anything she wants. It turns out, this is Andrea Lawful Sanders is her name. She was interviewed on CNN a day later and admitted that all those spontaneous questions were supplied by Biden's White House. And she was told what to ask so the president would know what to say. Here's her confession on the air. I can find it for you. Here.
And maybe that's what you were allowed to ask by the campaign or the White House. But they were essentially the same questions, both interviews, about accomplishments, progress in your respective state, what's at stake in the election, what he has to say about his debate performance, and what he would say to voters who think their vote doesn't matter or might sit this election out. Were those questions given to you by the White House, or did you have, or the campaign, or did you have to submit questions ahead of this interview?
The questions were sent to me for approval. I approved them.
Okay, so the White House sent the questions to you ahead of the interview?
Yes.
Okay.
I got several questions, 8 of them, and the 4 that were chosen were the ones that I approved.
Okay. And the reason I ask is not a criticism of either of you. It's just that if the White House is trying now to prove the vim, vigor, acuity of the president, I don't know how they do that by sending questions first before the interview so that the president knows what's coming.
You got to feel bad for her. You know, I mean, she seems like an articulate, intelligent lady. her career was going to go to the moon. The president of the United States was coming on her show. I'd ask him whatever he wanted me to ask. But it doesn't look good for Biden, for as the guy said that was interviewing her. Does that prove that the president is full of vim and vigor? If he gave you the questions and then you turned around and asked him the questions and then he turned around and had the answers all written out, reading them to you over the radio? They fired her over it.
So I would like to know, what did she do that was wrong?
I think the way the radio station looks at it is that she should have said, I guess, I really don't know.
I mean, lie? Is that what
I
they
got these
for her to
questions
lie?
from the president, and now I'm asking the president the questions he gave me. I mean, that's the only thing she could have done.
I mean,
right?
but what did she do that was wrong? I mean, me personally looking at it, it's wrongful termination. I mean,
think
because she
you're
didn't do
right.
anything wrong. She told the truth. How do you get fired by telling the truth? And you know what? No one else is really bringing up to the attention, Barry.
What's that?
How did CNN get wind that they received the questions? No one's bringing that up. No one
You
is
know
talking
what?
about that.
I never thought about it till you just asked it.
I mean, really, so think about it. So wait a minute. So it's two things possibly happening here. Someone from the White House told CNN right before they brought her on that, hey, we gave the questions to her so you can bring this up. Or CNN, they received the questions themselves. And they want to know if you received questions too. And they asked it live on the air.
So, like, they set up Joe to look bad?
Yeah. I mean, why would they do that? Because she's a black woman. And you're not CNN. They got this black man to do it. So would they crush her career? Did CNN, after they crush her career, did CNN reach out to her and say, hey, we'll offer you a position here as at least a contributor, something? Because was it all a setup? Maybe she said something else that they didn't like. This was the same interview, to my understanding, that Joe Biden said that he was the first black woman to be with a black president. I mean, so what is going on here? I mean, it's like this whole thing is making us all look bad. Someone needs to take the fall for this. Well, help me understand here.
It came out last night that there's a radio station in Wisconsin that, because Wisconsin's in play and Pennsylvania's in play, they're swing states. They sent the questions to that radio station too. And whoever it was that interviewed Biden accepted the questions the White House sent them just so they could do the interview. I mean, it's the president of the United States and you're in this little radio station. You want to ask me what shoe size? I'll ask you what shoe size just to put you on my show. It's a career-making moment, right?
Well, it should be, but a lot of these, her radio station, I would have never known about her on the radio had this not happened to her. We wouldn't even be talking about it.
Until CNN blew it up.
Yeah, we wouldn't even be talking about it. And what was the point of CNN doing that?
Yeah, I think. And you know what? The only thing that makes sense, I think you may be right in your detective mode. It was a setup. No, seriously. I think they're throwing Biden under the bus and backing up and running him over as much as they can to get rid of him.
Yes, they are. That's the entire Democrat Party is collapsing. Their house of cards is coming down. And they're trying to salvage what they have left of it. That's why you have major donors right now backing out, supporting not just Joe Biden, but the DNC. And they don't care about their constituents. They don't care about the American people. They care about the power and the money. And now Biden, because of what he has done and what he's doing, this causing their money flow to be hindered. They're angry about it. And they're terrified because this is helping President Trump return. They're terrified of it.
All true. Well, I don't know about you, but I love Target stores. They're, except for the LGBTQ whatever department, which fortunately the one near my house, they took it out. because I wasn't going there for a long time and I missed the store. They listened to their constituents, at least here, and took it out. I don't know about your house.
No, they did. Here in Texas, they've taken it out too.
Excellent. So in Sacramento, this is insane. I can't even believe this is true. I had to check it 3 different places. The city of Sacramento, the capital of California, has gone after Target. The legal department of the city has told Target, this is the actual store. It's a beautiful new store. It's in an upscale neighborhood. And the Sacramento Bee, that's a big paper there, said that the city of Sacramento told Target that if they keep calling up and asking for police to come out and arrest shoplifters, get this, they're going to fine Target for complaining about theft crimes. You hear me? They're being
This is
bothered.
Twilight Zone.
This is insane. So Target is being looted in plain daylight, and they don't want any crimes reported. Now, I have a theory on that, but first, let's understand the fact, what the heck is Target supposed to do? I mean, you've been in those stores. They're humongous. I don't know how many tens of hundreds of millions of dollars in inventory, and people are just walking in and taking stuff. And the security guy at the front detains them and calls the police, and the police don't come. And then they tell Target, they wrote them a letter saying, we're going to fine you for harassing the police department. That's the truth. Sacramento Bee has all the information. Let me tell you,
it's not a Babylon Bee.
I thought it was. That's why I checked it. You want to know why this is the case? Who's the governor of California? You're his biggest fan.
Gruesome Newsom.
He's been reporting in all of his interviews what a great job he's done, how crime statistics, which are reported crimes, are dropping in California. If it becomes against the law to report a crime, the number of crimes goes down. It doesn't mean crime is going down. It means the numbers of crime are going down. Get it? And I've seen him on camera bragging about California. This is crazy. Don't forget, California passed Proposition 47 a while ago that loosens the penalties for drug and theft crimes. That's why the statistics are dropping, because it's not illegal anymore to shoplift.
Yeah.
And if you...
It's total lawlessness.
Yeah. I mean, why would a company invest, I don't know how much they put into a store like this to open it, $1 zillion, just to have their profits walk out the door in somebody's bag that wasn't paid for? And Newsom is on TV bragging about crime going down in California?
Yeah.
Of course it's going down if it's illegal to report crime.
You know what, Barry? And if you actually bring this story up to a whole bunch of tyrants on the left, they'll say it's not true. You know that? If you bring this up to them, even if you show them the article, show them the story, they'll say that's a cheap fake. They'll say that's not true. They'll say the crime is down. And regardless, you know, even the crime is down because it's not being reported, like you just mentioned, so they can have the numbers that they're looking for. But there is so much denial. Why? You know what? Look, Target kind of brought this on themselves too, right? Because they went along with the whole DEI wokeism, and now it's backfiring on them for going along with it in the first place. And all the people that's going in and robbing them, I'm willing to bet, going on a limb here, I'm willing to bet that they're black and brown people. I'm just going on a limb, right? It's kind of without saying. We know who it is, and that's another thing. They want to protect them because they say they don't know any better, Barry. like me, because I'm BlackBerry, I don't know any better. So they need to, make it to where I can just go in and steal what I think is up to like $990, because I don't know any better. And that's just the way things are. They're actually making it, how do they're making it easy for criminals to be criminals. They're giving it a pass, and people have it in their mind saying they're not going to arrest me, and if they do, it's just a misdemeanor. I don't get in trouble for anything, and I can keep doing it. They could care less. This total lawlessness, and the crazy thing about this is going to increase. It's going to increase. So the only option Target has, shut it down, move out.
Yeah, but
to a
if
red
they
state.
do that, they still owe on the lease millions and millions and millions. They've got all the inventory, millions and millions and millions. They built the store. They'll go out of business. They can't run a
What?
business when their inventory is being stolen.
Yeah. Or either they're just going to have to just close the doors and say, well,
And then
we're not.
everybody
Yeah.
suffers.
Everybody's screwed.
I don't know if you know this guy, Keith Olbermann. He's had jobs everywhere. He was at ESPN for a long time, got fired, came back, got fired, went to ESPN 2, got canned, went to MSNBC, got canned, went to Current TV, got fired. I don't know why people, he's been fired from like 6 or 7 jobs. I don't know why people watch him, but he's a darling of the far left screamer commentator group. And he was too crazy to be at MSNBC, and he was replaced by Joy Reid, just to give you an example of his background. I got to show you this clip that's been circulating viral since the debate. This is his political analysis of the debate and what should have happened that night.
Check the fire hose of lies that is Donald Trump, that is the entirety of his existence and the entirety of his campaign. The decision to not fact check any one of those lies by CNN was one of the most immoral decisions in the history of the free press in this country. Literally, I am suggesting that at some point tonight, CNN should, it will not, go off the air in shame, fire everybody, seal off the buildings, make sure everybody's out, and burn the goddamn place to the ground.
They're imploding. I'm telling you, they are imploding. They're eating their own.
When the left wing, the crazy in the left wing, goes on a rant like that, they've lost it. And you can see why he's been fired from everywhere, but he still has a big audience.
So, you know what? One question, they constantly say this, that President Trump lied. First, originally, they said he lied 28 times that night. Now they're saying it's been 50 times that he lied that night. What are the lies, Barry?
Oh, stop with the questions and the details because that wrecks the narrative. And none of these people are saying, does Joe Biden have Parkinson's? Does he have dementia? Am I worried that he's the leader of the free world, the most powerful man on planet Earth with the nuclear football sitting next to him 24/7, whether he's awake or not?
Yep.
That's what we should be talking about.
Yeah.
Because we're all Americans, right? And we're all
we're supposed to be
about our country.
Yeah, we're supposed to be. And you know what else? You know what else they're upset about? Is that after the debate, what did President Trump do up until the rally he just had? What did he do?
It was quiet.
He was silent. He didn't say anything. They were upset. They were like, how come he's not saying anything? And President Trump was like, I don't need to say anything. Just sit back and just,
Yeah,
you
just
know.
you guys burn it down. I'll just
Yeah.
play golf.
He didn't have to say anything. And
Right.
because he's not saying anything, they're upset because they're like, we need something from him so we can deflect from what happened with Joe Biden in that debate. And because he's silent on it, the entire world is talking about it. And they used to be able to control the narrative. They used to be able to control what people, the information that they saw with Joe Biden. They had it on lockdown. But then they put it out there. Now, the primaries, really quick, if I can, the primaries, it's like the playoffs in sports, right? It's like the playoffs, and they see them going. Not everybody tunes in, but people start tuning in a little bit, right? You know, and they see what's happening. But it was the RNC, the Republicans doing the primary, and they're really not paying attention to Joe Biden, is how they wanted it. They kicked out RFK. RFK had to be an independent. So now what happened is that we're at the championship. We're in the final stretch for the championship. Now everybody tunes in to watch the championship. They set it up on the Communist News Network for Joe Biden. They had it on a silver platter with golden forks and knives for Joe, and he still messed it up. He still botched it up. What's her name on CNN? She was Dana Bash was telling Joe Biden, look at Jake Tapper. Look. That went viral. They did everything they could. So now that the entire world saw Joe Biden staring off into space, not knowing where he's at, what's going on, poop his pants, now they're all questioning Joe Biden's cognitive abilities. And President Trump is just being silent, saying, I don't need to say anything. And they're all spiraling out of control.
And he doesn't. I got a quickie for you. We all hear all the time, the radicals are over there. We don't have anything to worry about. It's not true. Let me show you an imam, a Muslim imam in Louisiana praying for mass murder.
المسلمين المستضعفين في غزة العزة اللهم انصرهم يا رب العالمين اللهم يا ربنا إنهم يجاهدون في سبيلك اللهم إنهم يجاهدون في سبيلك اللهم انصرهم يا رب العالمين اللهم انصرهم على أعدائهم يا رب العالمين اللهم عليك باليهود اللهم عليك باليهود وأعوانهم فإنهم لا يعجزونك اللهم احصهم عددا اللهم احصهم عددا واقتلهم بلدا ولا تغادر منهم احدا يا رب العالمين اللهم عليك بالصهاينة يا رب العالمين.
I don't know if you could have seen or you were able to see.
I saw that time.
He's praying for mass murder.
Yeah.
And
Jews and Christians.
Yep. Saturday people and Sunday people. And they put these videos out on YouTube. It's not a secret. It wasn't, recorded with a secret camera in somebody's button or in their hat. They record themselves calling for mass murder. And aren't there laws being broken, Will Johnson?
Yeah, they're actually inciting violence. They're actually calling for the killing of a group of people. That is against the law. That is not considered free speech. But it's interesting. You said it's on YouTube, and YouTube hasn't taken it down?
Nope.
Oh, this is very interesting. Who do they think that they're going to end up killing? I mean, do you think that, are the people at YouTube think that they're exempt? Oh, yes, because we're all liberal. We're all DEI. We support them. You know, how they walk around with the rainbow flag and talk about, oh, yeah, we support them. Yeah, go to Gaza and say you support them, waving that rainbow flag. Let's see how far you get.
Yep. Just wanted people to be reminded. A minute ago, we were talking about what happened to Target, Will. San Francisco has institutionalized theft. It's gotten so bad that office vacancies are out of control, the worst in history. The price of the downtown office buildings are plummeting. Vacancy rates for the high-end apartments are plummeting. Nobody wants to live there. The crime is so bad. And the city of San Francisco puts up a sign like this. Check it out.
Actually,
in front of the Louis Vuitton store.
Actually, I looked that up. That's
Stolen goods must remain under $950 or else you could go to jail.
actually that's not real.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I looked at because I was wait a minute, is this because you know what? When I first saw that, I know someone who still lives in California, and I said, "Dude, is this real?" And he says, "I'm gonna go find out." And he went down to San Francisco, right to this location, and it's not there. Someone imposed that to make it look
Well,
like it's real.
it could have been
the,
there.
the thing is, Barry, the
That is
policy
the
is
law.
true.
Right.
The policy is true.
That was totally my point.
Yeah.
That whether the sign is there or not is irrelevant. The police won't come and won't
Exactly.
charge anybody if you steal less than $950. And if you go three times in a day, you can get off with almost $3,000 worth of stuff.
Yeah, just make a couple of trips, 3 to 4 trips, you're good. And there's nothing they can do about it. But yeah, the policy, you're 100% correct. The policy is 100% true, and that's exactly what it is, $950. And that's what's happening to that Target, right? The same thing with that Target. Did they steal $951? No, it was $949.58. There's nothing we can do.
All right, get out of here. Take your stuff. Have a nice day. Bye. And Target, don't call us so much. We've got important things to do.
It's sad, Barry. This is lawlessness. This is our country. This is what our society. And they want Gavin Newsom's policies to be the rest of the country. So that sign is what they want for the United States of America. To collapse this country. That is their ultimate goal, to usher in communism.
It's true. We're going to end with something to think about today. Tulsi Gabbard used to be the congresswoman from Hawaii. She didn't run for re-election. Instead, she ran for president. She's a great patriot. She's still serving her country in uniform. A number of tours overseas in the Middle East, Iraq, and Afghanistan. Besides being mentioned in some conversations as a potential vice presidential pick under Trump, they're now talking, at least yesterday, that she should address the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, as they think she's a great public speaker and really gets it regarding conservative values. She had a really interesting take on this video she put out on her phone a couple weeks ago, going after Joe Biden, who proclaimed that the biggest threat to America is not the open border with 10 million people flowing in, terrorists, murderers, thieves, drug dealers, human traffickers. It's not inflation that's out of control where people can't afford to buy groceries. It's not the war in Gaza and northern Israel. It's killing thousands and thousands of people. It's not the confrontation between Ukraine and Russia that threatens to develop into nuclear war. No, you stupid Americans. You won't believe what Joe Biden says is the only major threat facing America. Check out Tulsi Gabbard.
Of yesterday's debate between President Biden and President Trump, a lot of people are saying, oh my gosh, President Biden comes across as so old. What about his performance? That's not the most important thing that we should be paying attention to. The problem isn't that he's just old. The problem is he's insane. Only a madman would not consider a nuclear holocaust, a nuclear war, as an existential threat. He said, quote, the only existential threat to humanity is climate change, end of quote. Only an insane person would say this. And this exact insane person has the power to launch a nuclear weapon. How could we even consider that it would be safe to reelect this man? Now remember, again, he's the guy with the nuclear codes, and yet he doesn't consider nuclear war to be an existential threat. I don't know what he thinks it'll be. Is it just going to be a walk in the park? We're talking about the skin burning off of our children, the decimation of all living things. What to speak of the nuclear winter that would follow? This doesn't seem to be a concern to President Biden, which makes me ask, what world is this man living in? He is responsible for the fact that today we are now closer to nuclear war than ever before. And he is responsible for deciding whether or not we will engage in nuclear war. And yet he doesn't consider it an existential threat. It doesn't bring me any joy to say this. I've known the Bidens. I've known President Biden. I was friend with his son, Beau. We served in the National Guard. I endorsed him because I thought he had a good heart. So I'm not saying this because of partisanship or hatred or anything else. I'm saying this because I love the American people and this world that we live in. I cherish peace and freedom. This world is not ours to destroy. Even if President Biden and the Democrats think that they have the right to decimate us, our families, our homes, our communities, they don't have the right to destroy all living creatures on this planet. This man does not belong in the White House holding this position of power because he's a threat to the two very most important things, life and liberty. To vote for Biden is to vote for nuclear war and tyranny, the destruction of our democracy. That is a fact.
Something to think about. The woke left doesn't agree.
No.
The
No,
Greens
they hate her
don't
now.
agree.
Yeah,
What's
they
that?
hate her now. I said they hate her now.
They probably hated her because she's in uniform and she serves her country like your dad did.
Yep, that too. That too.
Well, great show today, my friend. We will see you next week. Same time, same bat channel. A lot of the same news, unfortunately. Some of this stuff just doesn't get any better.
Yep, crazier
Take
and
care.
crazier.